Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you find yourself, and welcome to the third day of our proMX Dynamics Week 2023. It is our first year in a row that we are doing this annual event, during which we have a week full of sessions all around Dynamics 365, different topics, updates, and today we will be talking about project operations, what is coming, and maybe also some demonstration I believe that Sebastian has prepared. And of course, coming to our speaker from today, we have Sebastian Sieber. He is our team lead ISV solutions at proMX, and he also is he has an extensive experience with Dynamics 365, PSA, and now also PO. And I guess that he will share more details about himself, and let's start and have fun. Then to you, Sebastian.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Katerina, for this nice introduction. Let me then take the screen from you, like that. That should work. Perfect. As Karina mentioned, we will talk a bit today about project operations. So we will look into new features, what happened lately, and as well a bit of an outlook, what will come next. First of all, to myself, to my person, my name is Sebastian. As already mentioned, I'm working for proMX in the area for PSA, project operations for a long time. So already around that since the beginning. And happy to help with any of your questions, with any of your use cases, perhaps challenges you face, and as well maybe use that session or as well the next days to get in contact with me. If you want to do that, there's a sneaky QR code on the form, so you want to maybe take a picture of it, and then you get get in contact with me with my email, LinkedIn, whatever works best for you. And with that, we will then figure it out all together. For today, you can already cross the first thing of the agenda. So you only map me, so that's perfectly fine. We already crossed that, so we're only half the way on this Wednesday morning. We will do a little introduction into project operations, see what it is all about, just to get everyone on the same page, and then we will see what happened recently. We'll do some little demo. With the demo, we will just go through a bit of default process, how to plan, how to play around with the project, and then I will explain a bit of the new features within that process actually. And then as well, little outlook as mentioned to what's next, what will happen in the next release time frame or in this current release time frame, and then as well some questions and answers if I don't talk too much. Little glossary from the start off so that we are all on the same page. As mentioned, I've been starting or I've started with that whole Dynamics CRM PSA stuff close to 10 years back. So sometimes things I work with already got more often renamed than I changed my desk in the office. So when we say PSA, it is Dynamics 365 Project Service Automation, which is currently the version 3, and Project Operations is basically version 4 of the very same product. What that means, we will see in a second on the next slide. When I talk about F&O, I usually point out to finance, but be aware that we mostly talk today about the CE side because there's just where my expertise is based on. And CE or customer engagement, or then perhaps CRM, CRM4, CRM 2013, and things like that. That is CE. So I try to say CE. Sometimes I'm still saying CRM. So I'm sorry for that. Project operations is a very long word, a lot of letters in there, a lot of characters. So there's perhaps we want to shorten it with PO or project ops or anything in between that. Project for the web is, if you see it on the slides, mostly as P4W, so don't get confused with that. We are on the one side, we will have Project for the web, and on the other side, we will have the PAX web, which is basically the integrated version in Project Operations, but more to that later. And I'm not sure if you talk about the schedule API. Maybe if we talk about it, you can rather find it via project scheduling service if you want to track that after the session. Usually, I think PSS, project scheduling service, should work. You can already see this is as well pretty tough for me to pronounce. I'm sticking with scheduling API. This is basically the foundation to work with project for the web in project operations. Good. When we're all settled, then just a very quick overview about like what is project operations. So project operations or project ops, PO, whatever, kind of emerged from the new version upgrade from PSA version 3 to version 4 back in October 2020. And PSA was around since like April 2016, something like that, already like 9 years ago. Basically, project operation combines a lot of different features what PSA had before. So all of these um, cost regulation and cost planning, which make project sales automation so strong, and as well now combined with the planning capabilities we see in project for the web, and as well some more enhanced costing, sales, and pricing functionality just coming in from the Dynamics 365 finance side, so from the ERP side there. And with that, it's the very first product from Microsoft that is basically available across these two platforms, so the FNO and the DCE platform, and kind of combines that, and it's the first one of that. Besides that, or because of that, there are as well some different deployment types you can drive as a customer, and you can as well drive on your customer side as partner or implementation partner. So first of all, there's the light deployment. I not really like the name because actually it's like suggests that it has not like the full feature set, but it's just like the full feature set on CE. It's just on the customer engagement side, the same as project service automation. And perhaps if you're coming from the project service automation side and you want to use project operations, this would be perhaps your target to get this CE only deployment for the project operations experience. What you will be missing there is then the integration to the F&O side, so the whole finance section, which then rather comes across if we talk about project contracting and as well then in the invoicing perspective. But usually, to be honest, most of our customers do have some ERP system at some point in their process and using project operations during that journey to manage the projects, track their times, and then at some point, these performer invoices or the approved records will be then played back into any ERP, whatever you already using since decades. So only interesting if you're really coming from an F&O background. That would be then super interesting because you can either combine both of your systems, which you had in the past perhaps manually integrated or not integrated at all, or you can, coming from the F&O side, getting this whole low-code Power Apps, Power Platform um, on top, just as an addition, and all fully then integrated via dual write. So there's an out-of-the-box scenario for that. There is as well some possibilities to extend that, but this is perhaps a topic for another webinar and another day. I already talked about the journey, and therefore let's check a bit on the user journey a bit. So it goes all along the way from starting with project administration and up to task planning, setting up dependencies, setting up the efforts, assigning resources, and forecasting the costs of the project, doing some budget controlling, talking about comparison between budget and forecasting, all of things like that, up to then to organize your materials if you do have any sort in that, and as well to organize your resources, as well with a little skill management there. So it kind of serves the whole process in like working with working with customers, working with employees, and working with projects. And if you know what I say here, but we don't do projects. I came across um, the situation that usually if you do have any type of activities or tasks and you kind of organize that in like a bigger bucket, then this is a project, and then you work with these projects. So it doesn't really matter which area you're from, if it's automotive or perhaps professional services. You can really kind of compare that on a very high level. And then, of course, if we go into details, then of course it's a bit different. But at the very same point, we all do projects the whole day, and I can as well establish like cleaning my household as project. It kind of works. I tried it, and it kind of works in that way. So we can always talk about projects. It's perhaps an only internal different name for your organization, and as well perhaps for your um, experience. But at the end, what we want to do is we want to organize tasks. We want to see if we're in budget. We want to see if everything works fine. If we see if we can hold the deadlines, and we want to see if our team, the colleagues, the company is staffed, is on capacity or not. And for that, Preparation is a really nice tool. Digging more deeper into can you please go to the next slide? Yes, thanks. Um, Digging more deeper into the functionality, so I rounded up in like three categories, so project planning and management, so where we talk about project scoping, tracking objectives and deliverables, setting up the timeline as mentioned, setting up like different tasks and things like that, to track milestones, set up risks, and just collaborate with the whole team on the same entity, on the same level. Collaborate perhaps with teams, fully integrated, of course. Then they just announced last week that Microsoft Loop is something that is now generally available. It's also a very nice collaboration tool which we want to, or we currently trying to expose a bit and try out with some new internal projects, and then as well have that integration with all of the Dynamics and Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365 platform. So it's really sometimes a bit overwhelming, but what you can do, because there's like no real limits with that. If you find a way, there is definitely something you can just explore all the tools altogether. And the same as with the project then on preparation, so you're fully integrated with that whole ecosystem, and just can bring your collaboration to the next level. And of course, as already mentioned, you want to as well staff and allocate your resources. So we're talking more about resource management then. I already mentioned regarding skills and capacity roles a bit. So as well, we want to have an organized skills of our employees. We can track that with different levels. We can find the right resource for our project, as well with the capabilities of the resource scheduling board and solution, basically, which you may have seen as well in field service. So this is just using the same resources and the same development resources. So it's the same feature set as you know it from field service, and can kind of transfer its strength as well to the project operations platform. And as of course, like as last point here on the list, or as third point on the list, when we talk about controlling, so of course you want to see at the end if everything works fine, everything is in budget, so you can manage the budgets, the financials. You do have an overview of that in the system. All of the data is available. You really have a very nice feature about how prices are getting created in the system based on different values, based as well on custom values. Very nice to extend, and very nice to yeah, to customize with custom values there. So this whole pricing dimensions features is really one of my favorites on this whole platform. So it's really something that works in handy for a lot of use cases. And of course, when we talk about the whole platform, then we don't want to miss about Power BI and reporting. So all of this reporting based on the progress, based on financials, analyzing performances across the system. It's all given, it's all open for you to discover. And then as well with invoicing, I already mentioned that most of our customers go with the invoicing process, which is then encapsulated in their own ERP world. So with that system, they're already running accounting and invoicing for several years, which is totally fine. And we're basically able to integrate it to any other ERP system. It's not forced to use F&O at some point or so. You can definitely do it, as mentioned earlier, for more enhanced invoicing capabilities to have like this controlling or accounting actions there, and as well as some more features on the expense side. But nevertheless, you get a lot of features as well on the CE side. And then maybe talking about the personas, like who want to work with that environment, and who do have their jobs in there. We do have a little overview there. So there's everything from the project team member who's like doing like in the system their time recording to fulfill their tasks. There's the project manager who's done planning the projects, planning out the tasks, the activities happening all across the system. There's of course like the partner manager who gets like the information how the project is proceeding throughout the execution, talks with the customer, and has all of this information available while it's just like as mentioned, fully integrated in this whole ecosystem. And of course, when we talk about the resources, we don't want to miss out the resource manager, who can as well use that tool to um, plan skills, to plan as well education sessions, to plan like how can someone reach the next level, how to see like if everything is utilized, where we need like, for example, more developers in the future. Do we may need more um, low code developers? That is basically something which is visible in the system throughout your planning, throughout your staffing capabilities, and this just gets more and more advanced in the future. And of course, if we look a bit more on the C level, of course, the CEOs, the CFOs, the CTOs of this world definitely want to have a look on like how are my guys performing? How are the people doing? Is everything all right? Is everything on track? And that's definitely as well one indicator like how my projects are running within my company. Is everything like on track? How my utilization looks like, things like that. And of course, last but not least, the finance manager, who then as well gets the profitability overview, and can get like all of the numbers and values out of the system at any time throughout the process. And of course, it wouldn't be a Microsoft product, right, if there's not only sort of Copilot in it. So of course, there's a Copilot for project operations as well. We will see that in a demo. Um, we will go through that as part of the demo, and basically it can currently fulfill three different scenarios. So first of all, it can do your project planning a bit. So we can see it here on the screenshot. We do have different project tasks just created out of the box from our AI. And what is nice, you can really use that as a framework to start, as like a little template to start, and then specify more details with that. It doesn't come with like, for example, assignments or so, so it doesn't connect the task to, for example, a skill or resource role, but still it gives you like the foundation of a project plan. And if you not have any idea how to start with the project, then this is definitely your first step to do so. And as well, the second functionality, I don't have a screenshot for that actually, but the second is for project risks. So it analyzes your risks. So if you want to do a project which is heavily focused on, let's say, Microsoft Fabric, which is basically data tooling foundation for like Power BI and all this stuff. If you want to do like a project there and you don't have any resource assigned who's like having that skill set, so they don't really have knowledge about that and it's not tracked in your system, it will put you in a risk that there is no expertise on your project team with that tool you want to use actually in the project. And then as well, perhaps my favorite feature of these three is the reporting, because like it's a very I would don't want to say very lazy, but as a bit of a lazy person, I don't want to write like all of these text here to summarize the project, right? You can kind of see all the values on the project level, and you can see that, but sometimes you kind of need to write a report and you need to like summarize what happened, and that's done all fully done by the AI, and just gives you like that little nice report. And actually, they from a technical side to gigabit in that direction, they can introduce a full new control for that just to display that report. And I hope it's not only with these reports, so I hope there will be more in the future and there will be some actions for us to customize that again. But yeah, that's for Copilot. So this is definitely something we will see in a demo. We will try it out together and see how that works. And then talking about recent features which are currently available for you, either already there or that need to be activated. We talk about the date effective price overrides in the demo very shortly, so more about that. Same with subcontracting. And what you can do now is as well activate and revise your project quotes out of the box, which is just which took a bit to like bring it to push operations. In the past, I can imagine that we usually build this like with a custom button or something, but now it's there out of the box. We do have contour updates. Contour updates, just to be explained, is the daily pattern, how resources are planned, or how employees are planned across a project. So for example, you have like a week project and then you assign Katerina to the project, and then you can kind of determine like if she's working like 8 hours on Monday, 4 hours on Tuesday, and things like that. We will see that in the demo. We'll go through that. Um, Calendar-based experience, so you can as well now set up your calendar for the project. So you can define how many working hours there are during the week, how many working days are there during the month. So for example, you have projects which are only should work on like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, for example, throughout the process. Then you can kind of define that because of availability on the customer side, things like that. So it's much more dynamically to be defined. We talk about a lot about project budget management and time phase forecasting. This is definitely something that will be there on that slide for several months. It is, I think, as well on the slide what is like upcoming features for project operations. So don't be surprised about that. We will talk about it. It is still evolving, I want to tell. We will look into the current state and what you expect from it and how it works. Then we do have a modernized time entry experience, which we also have a look at and see like what is the difference there. And there's like some performance upgrades in terms of how to work with or like how fast the system is responding. And as well, there is something coming up with there's a like new SDK where you can create and update multiple records just much more faster. So how can I explain that? Imagine um, you need to touch a data record, or like an X. Let's take in the real world. Take a paper, like a sheet of paper, and you need to like uh, touch it like every one single one. So you need to imagine you have like 10 sheets of paper in front of you, and in order to um, turn them around, you need to turn every one single around. So everyone by itself. So you need to do the same operation 10 times. And with that new SDK, with that new plugin action, you can just take the full stack and turn it around once. So this is the this is the simple, hopefully simple explained um, feature of that. So instead of the plugin needs to touch every resource in your system, for example, it can just take a bunch of them and update them at the same time. So this is a really nice step forward in terms of performance and as well, for example, for planning and staffing resources. I already mentioned that you may want to enable some of these features. So usually um, in the settings tool, in the settings area here in preparations, you do have the parameter. And if you click on the parameter, you land on this page. And this is basically the the admin side, the admin settings for purchase operations, you want to call it, where you can as well define some certain settings. You can as well kind of see like how the pricing here um, is determined if it's like real-time pricing, so it's ad hoc synchronized, or is there a bit delay, so you can kind of select between asynchronous and synchronously here. But as well, what you want to focus on is here that little feature control there, that little drop down, and this will show you some sort of or some set of features which are available for your organization to enable. In a lot of cases, my disclaimer, don't do it on production. So don't do this on your productive environment. Maybe try it out first in a test environment, ideally test environment or like a different copy. Nothing that could disrupt your productive life cycle of that, because usually you cannot disable these features again. So for example, if you talk about project budgeting, then you will always get like this little button to create budgets on the project. And believe me, uh, people will click on buttons if they're there. So, so definitely that will happen. For Copilot, you can, for example, disable it again, but be sure about it. Maybe try it out on a separate environment to play around with the feature, see how it helps, and then perhaps talk to your partner or us, or maybe you're the person in charge. Then you can have a good coffee with that and think about if you really want to have that. But enough about this all theory stuff. Let's jump into the demo. And for the people who were there last Monday, I need some time to organize myself and reshare everything. Just give me a very quick second. Uh, da, da, da. And today we do it a bit different than Monday, so it's again, so I couldn't practice actually. So yeah, no, you should see it. So what you should see is we are currently in the cost price list for US dollars. And this is where we want to start. So from the demo perspective, I think we have like good 14 minutes now. And we go through and I will explain a bit what I'm doing, and then explain a bit like new features, something to keep an eye on, and something maybe to try it by yourself if you're not using it already. So let's see here on the price list. First of all, we do have like new time zone independent start and end dates. That currently can have an issue, by the way, if you're using that. Please make sure that as well all the other start and end dates also time zone independent. Otherwise, you will run into some challenges. But what I wanted to show here about on the role prices, you usually define like how much the different roles are costs. So the cost is then determined by the time checking and the expense tracking, and then you kind of get like, okay, 1 hour of consultancy costs costs me as a company $90. So, and then of course I want to sell that perhaps for at least 95 to do them like 90 to do like €5 of margin to have like some win with that. But what we actually can do, if we for example select our consultant, we can add a new role price override right here. So for that, we need to select the record in the system and then go for it on the top right here. And if we click on that, we can see that it comes in with a date, and I can as well set up a pricing percentage. So for example, for December, because it's Christmas time, it's plus 50% for the whole scope, so for the whole premix demo customer in this case. So it's kind of 50% more. So we do have more costs here for our consultant. And then as well, when we go into the consultant, we should see that as well, that there is some pricing overview. So with that, you don't need actually to create all the time new you don't need to create all the time new price lists. If something changes on the pricing, you can just change that pricing already. No, I clicked. This will happen a lot. I clicked on the role, and then it opened actually the role and not the role price. So that is definitely something I still need to get over it. So now we're on the role price. Now we can see again it's priced $90, and then you have like this new tab, date effective overrides, and then we see that there's already one from the 27th to the 30th in this case. Is a bit more. And so in this case, in this time frame from the 27th to the 30th, it will be $112.50, and then from the 30th on, it will be 135. So it will be kind of half the price more. And with that, you don't need to create a new price list with all the pricing roles. And if you have, I don't know, 50 different roles in your company and all of them are kind of charged differently, um, you don't want to do this like more than twice, right? So you don't want to do this all the time if something changes. And with that, you can set up start dates. You can as well set end dates and just change the pricing, plan the change of prices. This as well, of course, not only works for cost, this as well works for sales. So you can always then adjust the prices during the year without needing to like creating a full copy of your super detailed price list and having like 15 different price lists with different dates, with different prices, and you're never sure what should be done next or what should be used next, and you're constantly confused. So you can just take one price list, define the roles there, and then work with this new nice feature of the overrides here, just to slim down everything, to slim down the data, and this then as well will affect a bit on the performance, that you don't need to kind of make a full copy every time for your order, for example. So this is nice administrative feature. When we jump on the order, so we're here on our order, and from here we're just going straight forward with the whole process. So just very easy what we have here. We do have for a customer, it's a coffee shop. We want to set up future operations and then as well plan to go live. We do have a not to exceed limit, so we have $75,000 as not to exceed limit, and we as well split this amount between two customers. So we have the coffee shop, he's paying 75% of that value, and we have the Contoso, who is perhaps our partner or a partner of the coffee shop, who's then paying 25% of this implementation costs. So and with that, we can as well evenly distribute the numbers in between them, or we can, for example, add more accounts to that, or more customers to one in the same order when they are all connected with each other. On the contract lines, as you usually do, You can select the project you want to work with. So you can create a project baseline or product baseline. In this case, we already made an offer for licenses. So they use 150 licenses. It's $30, and there's an amount at the end. We not really care about this today. We want to rather go into the project baseline and see what is up here. And please do load a bit faster. Thanks. And here we can see we do include like all the time, all the expenses, all materials in the fees. So all kinds of services that came across that order will be tracked here. And we do have time and material, of course, because fixed price is kind of annoying. So, and we need a project for that. So what we do here, we don't have a project yet, so we create a new one. And of that, we just very, very fast landing in a quick create. So we do have here project operations setup. And I will again as well provide a description. This project is about customer who likes to use Dynamics 365 project operations. Our part is to set up the environments, do customization, do extensions, and to train the customer. And why this will be important, we will see in a moment. We don't change anything here. We just use default work template. So we work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, which will be landing into 40 hours. I'm the project manager. I will fill in this role here. And then we're creating the project. We're getting a little pop-up here that everything what we'll do updating there will be as well reflected here. We are fine with that. And then, for example, we do have here that project link. And then we do see here new included task tab here. And I can, for example, now select I want to include all the tasks of my project plan, which I plan out later, or I only want to have selected tasks which are customer faced. So what I can do as well now is to plan out the customer tasks, which we will be charging the customer, but I can as well in the same project have internal tasks as well, like support or internal trainings, internal handovers, internal meetings. I can plan this in the same structure. I don't need to create a new project. I can keep everything into the same project structure, but I just don't charge it on the order, and I can just select that. And in this case, we are evil. We just select all the project tasks. We have everything we want to to charge the customer, but definitely nice setup. So we jump into the project, and first thing you can see the Copilot pops up, right? So you see this kind of pops up here on the right hand side. This is where I need to be a bit more critical about it. It kind of suggests that I can chat with it and ask like, what is the estimated start date, or who's the project manager on that? It won't do that. Trust me, I've tried it multiple times. It can do right now, it can do generate some task for this project. This is what it can do, and you do have this available right here. So you do have this drop down, and you can all the time see what is available and what can be done. And I would rather recommend you to just close this or hide it on your form and then use it over the drop down. It's just more convenient. And for this right now, I'm doing the task plan. I will talk over it while it throws in this little nice terms and phrases like computing and analyzing your data. What happens in the background is it takes my name of the project, and as well takes the description and forms that nice project task plan for me without me any doing for that. So it kind of generates it based on description, and of course, as defined your description is, as defined your project plan will be. And I just recently came across that it gets better. In the first iteration of that, um, it kind of only like take 15 tasks or so, And recently I got to mention it over 30. Yes, and again, we do see like 39 tasks. In the first like iterations, it was like 20, 25 or so. So it kind of gets bigger and bigger and better. And here we do see like um, all of the tasks. It kind of suggests me to configure some hardware because I perhaps mentioned that we're setting up the environments. Uh, Maybe we should tell AI that we're on the cloud, but it should be fine. So and then as well integrate with existing systems. And so what you get is the first kind of rough plan. Of course, you want to make changes to it. You can as well always see like this little note here. So if we open that in the details, you can as well see that this is suggested by AI. So it's kind of labeled at the moment. So you want to remove that if you don't want to be shouted as lazy. But you can just keep it there. It's just nice hint that this is generated by AI and it's all fine. And now you can start planning. So what you can do is you can add start and finish dates, for example, and as well we can start assigning resources to it. So for let's maybe not install the server, but maybe connect the CRM. We may need the developer, right? So we search for developer. He's not finding it, so we're searching for Daisy. She's our developer. There she is. And then as well, we want to configure data flows there as well, need like Daisy here. And so we can just go through that, customize workflows, as well task for Daisy, organization, hierarchy, that is perhaps something that Tyler can do. And so with that, we just go through and can assign our resources. If we don't have someone who can integrate with the billing system, I can as well click on the three dots here and then add a generic resource. And what this is will happening is it will open up a new quick create here within the form, and I can specify the role here what I need, and it gives me I need like a solution architect for that, and I can see like the bookable resource, so the employee which is selected is the generic resource, and in this case, I'm fine with that. And this is like a placeholder. You want to see it? So there's like not the name set up, but the solution architect. And if I click on my team here, I can already see that like all of these team members are created. And they I don't want to like not find someone in my company for that, but I may have a subcontractor who has like a very, very good very good solution architect. And then I will click here on subcontract options. So what you usually want to do is you want to find someone internally, but in this case, I know that we do have a very good subcontractor who can handle that task. And it gives you that little pop-up, and you have come up with two suggestions. One is to reserve against an existing subcontracting line, or you want to create a new. So subcontracts are basically the same thing as project contracts. They are just from a different angle. It's just from a you don't plan there with projects, you plan there a bit with resources. So you can order and you can kind of buy in, purchase resource power, resource and knowledges. And what we want to do in this case here, we want to create a new subcontract line for the existing subcontract. So we want to select that subcontract we have here, which is the velocity vendor. And we do have a contract for November, so we want to select that one here. And then it will create you the subcontract line, and it will change here as well the worker type from employee to contract worker. And then it will be kind of sourcing out that information. And on the subcontract, we do have like all the information which is important for us. So we do have like the vendor information here on the left hand side. We can see like who's contracted to. We can see current subtotal, what is currently planned, and what is currently totally amounted. And as well, we do see like that Vanessa is the responsible vendor manager here, and on the subcontract lines, we can now see as well like what we want to or what we need in terms of the quantity and what we need in terms of the skills. So for example, right here we have one who's then already assigned, and then we have like a pro coder, and we have our solution architect, which I just created. And then we just go through like all this information here. We can review that. We can assign this to a certain project task, for example, and then as well I can provide quantity order with that. So I can kind of define if I want to have like 30 or 40 hours, or how many hours I will need them in total at the end. And then as well, based on the purchase price list, which is linked in background, I can as well see like how much this will cost me. Maybe I want to search someone internally with like lower cost, just to keep my project healthy, right? And this is how you can kind of organize that and go through that subcontractor handlings. So you can always use own employees, and you can use contractor workers or contract workers directly as well in the system. So you can organize them as well as resources in your system. You can link them, and you can set them up if they, for example, come around more often in your projects. So this is as well nice addition, how to organize internal and external employees, how to as well then search for employees which are working then in the area. Looking a bit on the time, we will speed up a little bit. So for this right now, for this project, I have the option to create a budget here over there. And for the beginning, I'm able to create a budget, and there's a new one, create a budget period, where you can kind of determine different periods. For right now, I want to import this for my estimates, what I already have planned. So this is as well accordingly, same as on the sales side, is here on the budget side, accordingly to my project plan. I use the resource assignments where I already created them, and I will give some contingency about, let's say, 25%. I'm not really done with my planning yet. So what will happen? Um, it will create a new budget which can be versionized, so you can have different versions. You can as well have the full cycle of submitting, approval, reviewing it, rejecting budgets, really working the details out on that level. And what will happen is, right now it currently imports all of what I've already planned out with the few resources I have in my project plan into the budget lines, and then create these based on all the cost prices and things like that, create the budget based on this planning. So everything what I'm doing in the system is based on the project planning and can be kind of centered with the project planning. And it should give me like some little notification as soon as it's done, and then it will appear new tab on that page. If not, I do have, is it already? Yeah, there we have it. So we can see we do have budget version 1, and then we do see like all of the different tasks currently. So you connect to CRM, configure data flows, customize workflows, define organization hierarchy. We all have that. We do see different roles. We can see as well who's then assigned to it. Currently, it's only Daisy and Tyler. These are the two named resources, so the real persons which are part of this project plan. And then if we go further to the right, you can see like the quantity, what is the unit with it. So if it's hour or days, we see the unit price. So it's 129, 110 and 29. And then we can as well see then I'm just making it a bit bigger here, the budget amount. So we do have a budget for let's do it like this. So we see budget based on like what is the unit price, so the cost price of that resource, of that role in that case, and we see that's multiplied by the quantity. We do have a budget amount, and then I added this 25% on top. So I do have some room to play. I do have some room for when something happens, some issues here and there. And so I can play around with that. So in a total, I do have a budget of 1,925. And this is how then you would proceed. And if you finalize the budget, you can as well submit that, or you want to as well delete it, or if you continue on your project plan and there's some updates, maybe you find someone else, some cheaper one, some times has changed, you can re-import these estimates. We don't want to do it because of the time. At the end, basically, if we check, yeah, we get a notification. That's quite nice. If we check that on the budget, then when it's approved, it just kind of locks all the way down, and then you can as well then see in the final result to have the tracking availability. So in this case, we do have, who's that guy? Oh, it's me. It's it's not intentionally. So there's me. I have like there's a budget of my person of like 4,800, and currently actual what because I already booked some time in the in the project. It's 720. So 720 already used all of this budget. There's a forecast amount of that, which is still available. And then as well, you can see like how many percentage I have already consumed. And you can see that numbers all across then the time tracking. So you have just one more capability to track the budget, to track the times, to track if you're still in budget, if maybe I'm exceeding my budget, but in this case, perhaps someone else like Patrick, Daisy, or Tyler, they will just be below their budget. The overall budget will still stay green, and I'm still fine with the project, right? So, uh, we have 8 more minutes. So let's talk about some more nice AI features. Here in this project, I already have I already did some time tracking, and for that I'm as able to like set up risks and as well as status report. So this will be available as soon as you have one actual on the project. So for risks, let's click on risks. As mentioned, it will kind of highlight that I don't have the expertise to do any operations project, or I'm just not good enough to kind of work with my computer or something. It will bully me. So but let's see. So the project involves handling sensitive personal health data. That's right, because we have here Health Navigator, personal healthcare assistant. So this is definitely a good risk here to identify. It gives you like the description, very detailed. As well, it gives you like the subject, and as mentioned, that I'm just not skilled enough to do that. It's fine. I can live with that. um, the budget will overrun. I'm completely aware of that. Thank you. Um, with that as well, it comes with a risk probability and as well with a mitigation plan, which is quite nice to then really um, give you the next step, what to do, how to address it. For example, for a healthcare data in this case, in this project, we want to have strong encryption protocols to ensure that proper controls and accesses are given. And that's pretty nice. So it gives you um, not the perfect solution with that, but it definitely provides you very nice overview. Um, Very quick, we will jump on the status report as well. This will take some seconds, so we can just I can just talk over it. Um, then it will provide me the report, and be sure I did not write any of the summary here. It's all AI driven. We do have here the financials overview where we see like time, material, and expenses. We have like 35 expenses, which are actuals, so these times are the actuals, and then there's the forecast, and you can see like how this is then spent over the time. And then as well, we do have the financial report for our project, and as well, we see like all the tasks across the project planning. So again, we work for financials and the project plan, and we can see, for example, in progress, there's my task and Tyler's task, and there are a lot of not started tasks, and there is, of course, not a single completed one. I need to talk to this team. And here we can as well like see um, full organizational overview about like this whole task, what happens, what will happen, what is still to be open to be done, how the progress is all overall, and the difference between the internal and the external overview is just the internal includes the financial overview. The external one will only include your that section here with the work section. So I'm always trying to showcase the internal one, and it looks pretty nice. So I hope they will do more of that. To not let you go without the updated time entry experience, I will open up this one here as well. So there you will see there's not a lot changes to it right now. I think they will come up with that step by step. So right now there is a new updated grid which looks a bit different to the old one or to the current one. It still kind of shows you all the tasks, but it just looks a bit more modern, a bit more similar to the Power Apps grid, to the editable grid over there. Just in comparison with the old one, this is done more like it looks more like a sheet, right? It looks more like an Excel sheet here, and it gives you more like different vibes of that. So the newer one just looks a bit more clean, more opened, and you still have all the same functionalities. You don't lose functionality with that, and over the time they will expand and go into deep with like new features on it, bring in like colors and new rules and things like that. So this will definitely happen here. Jumping back to our presentation, just to be on close to be on time. Give me a second to reshare everything. I can't see Karina's face, and she's not happy that I'm taking so much time. So we saw the demo. Let's quickly go through. We have 3 more minutes. The upcoming features. I don't want to leave you without that. There will be some new ways to find your resources. So in terms of finding resources, it can as well then suggest your resources in the future. So instead of like searching in a very difficult and enhanced process, you can kind of get this suggestions right here, and it goes as well into more detail. For example, in this case, David, here's a score of 10. And the skill matches, the cost impact will be shown. He's 100% available, and he as well like has some task experience with that. So this whole interface, like how resources will be recommended for your project, changes, and is as well AI driven at some point. And it will just enhance that whole process with that, and I think it looks pretty nice. Can't wait to have my hands on that. We will talk about more and more about UI and UX. It looks more clean, looks more fresh, looks more modern. You heard this all the time, and this is well one example right here for the project quote. So what you can see here, there we do have new KPI controls for customer budget. We are in depth here, Jesus, and as well the probability and as well the scheduled days to deliver. You get just out of the box much more charts and information out of that one. As well, this will as well happen not only on quote, but as well on invoice and project contract. So this will be across the whole environment. Then there's new functionality about pricing methods. You can as well add, for example, it's called cost plus pricing method. It will be then calculated based on the costs of your resource. For example, you have like $100, which are the cost, and then you can set up a percentage based on that on top, so that you will always be on the profits range. And then, of course, there will be more enhancements during the project budget feature, what we already talked and see through earlier. So this whole import from estimates will be look differently in the future. So they will be driving constantly updates to that. That's as well my recommendation for you for that feature. If you want to try it out in your dev environment, try it on in your different copy or local copy. Try it out, play it around, because if you want to use it proactively, it can change from update to update, so on a monthly basis actually. So it can bring in new features which you may don't want to have without getting tested at first. So please be aware of that, that this is kind of still something which happens in preview. And there are more things to that. For example, they will remove the team member limits for external scheduled projects. The WBS limit, so the task you do have on the project task, on the project planning, will be extended to 1,000. Currently, it's 500 tasks per project. You will see prospects and quotes and contracts between legal entities if you come from the F&O side. You will be able soon enough to mark tasks as done in your project plan, which is a pretty nice feature, and as well as some things in terms of bulk resource reconciliation. So if you have differences between your planning and the scheduling, the staffing part, and then you can bring them together all at once and don't have to click through everything buy them one by one. And if you do have, or you don't have enough yet of Bridge Operations, and you want to see what is upcoming there tomorrow, same time, Samir Verma, he's basically responsible for all of these stuff, all of these Bridge Operations on the finance part. He will be talking in a hybrid event in Nuremberg, so you can join online. Same time tomorrow. We will look on the roadmap. And I think we don't have time for questions. So I will skip that slide. It's the most skipped slide in my presentation somehow. And there is one more session today at 4 GMT plus 1, where Stephanie and Dominic, my colleagues, will take on Copilot for sales and customer service. And I can't wait to see that session because I'm really into this Copilot stuff. Thank you very much for attending. I can see Katerina is patiently waiting there to take back the microphone. If you do have questions which we couldn't answer during the session, sorry for that, please reach out. Please let me know. I will come back to that, and I will answer every question. And write me on LinkedIn, write me an email. I will go through that one by one. Promise. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone for attending at this uh, very early day, daytime for me. And yeah, back to you, Katerina. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you for all this new information and all the overview of the actual upcoming features. I hope that also our audience liked very much this event and looking forward to see you on the upcoming ones. I would not like to take more of your time, so we dropped all the information to the chat. Please contact us in case you have some questions. As mentioned already, Sebastian, write us an email and we'll stay in touch with you. Have a nice day, a nice evening, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye.